to get this screen in here, I'm going to take this polygon and just bevel it in. Using the poly bevel tool, get it to about the right size this way. And now, my friend symmetry, select vertices, just going to select that vertex and move it to square up the screen. Just close enough for believability. And grab this edge, pull that in. So there's roughly the right shape for our screen. Grab that polygon again and bevel it down by a millimeter or so. Okay, I can turn off the screen reference. And let me assign this material. I'll call this screen. Screen is a good mnemonic for that. That's a little rough in terms of believable density and all that. So I will get these edges. That one and that one. And symmetry should have gotten me 4 edges selected. Yes. Okay, so I'll round those out a bit. Like so. Pretty big, actually. So that's going to be a nice round-edged screen. And I probably would like to round the approach to this also, just to continue the this device is not going to cut your fingers sort of feel. And these polygons at the corners are going to give me a little trouble with that. So the rounding tool is going to try to keep things a polygon round applied here is going to produce a lot of other little edges that are going to get confused by these. So I'm going to try to simplify that area. So what I'm going to do here, turn off symmetry for the moment, and get the cut tool. I'm just going to cut this in half this way, whole machine like that. And also, while I'm at it, let me get this loop all the way around here. I'm going to just cut this as well until it just slice the things that I selected, and just give me one slice through the middle. So what that does, if I drop all this, is it lets me merge these polygons and get rid of these extra edges here. So I'll go polygon, reduce, merge, and likewise here. Okay, so now the geometry along this edge is a lot simpler from the point of view of a rounding tool. So if I select these polygons and expand that selection and then convert that to a boundary, I have the edge of this screen area, and I can bevel it with a pretty wide bevel without worrying about creating really weird geometry along the edges. So the number of segments here is probably overkill, but I also think it is not likely to hurt much. So there's that. Here is our basic machine casing. Now, before I completely leave my senses here, let's look at this sort of in close-up and do some evaluation of how smooth it is. So at render time, all of these n-gons that I've created here are going to be diced up into triangles, and the reflection shader is doing that in the same way. And so you can see that it's going to cause some shading errors. Right now, this polygon is being smoothed together with this edge, and with this edge, and with this edge. that are not actually flat with respect to it. But if we select it and just bevel it in by a tiny amount, like 0.5 millimeter or something, and what that will do is tell them, you know, don't smooth it together with the surrounding edges nearly so much. Now I think this is actually overkill over here. You know, I'm missing the smooth transition across here, but it has fixed some of the crazy shading around the screen. So let me get these bitsy polygons, see if I can get rid of them. Those three. I'll merge those. So shading better around the screen, shading not so good around here. But I do want to avoid some extra polygons. The lid is actually going to be a separate entity. So let me grab those guys, cut and paste them back. So there's not going to be smoothing to worry about there. Is that better enough? Here, let me pop this up to full screen and turn off the wireframe so that we're just looking at the smoothing. This is a little weird and rough in terms of transitions. I think it's gonna catch highlights in a slightly funny way. And up here again, there's some awfully strong separation here. So let's put wireframes back on and try and figure out what's going on. So if I bop over to my lists menu and look at these polygons by type, say, where are polygons that are non-planar? Well, there's a threshold for that, but the basic category is fairly straightforward. These are guys where, as you can see, the shading is looking just slightly funny, and you know that edge bevel has left some slightly warped polygons going on. So it looks to me like that edge bevel gave me some slightly funky results here. Well, I can fret about that. Let me see how much difference it makes later and come back if I need to.